Our next presenter is Isham Behl, and he'll present his project Turban page. Please join me in welcoming Isham to the stage.
Hello. So my project, 2 words, Turban page. And my question to you, have you seen a turban and just wondered why? Not many people wear turbans, and even around the room, I don't see anyone else wearing a turban. So I'm going to go take you on a story. So first time it became known to the rest of the world was during wartime, when under British rule, India participated in the world wars. And the turban was the first exception they've made in place of using copper helmets for Sikh soldiers. And most people would question why. You're taking off your helmet to protect your identity. So the next question is, how important is your identity to you? Right? In modern times, people will wear turbans riding motorcycles or in construction zones looking for government exceptions. And so who will this help? So there's 3 main categories I've identified. Students or people who've grown up as first-generation Canadians, and they themselves don't know why do they wear a turban. Second group of people who might be related to people who wear a turban or are friends with. And third, first-time learning. They've never seen someone wear a turban before. And how would I approach this? So I've gone around Winnipeg, interviewed the community, I've created a documentary, and getting direct information from people's stories and learning about them. And this is important because of the information attack from other world governments where there's propaganda or editing of Wikipedia pages and such. So this improves the credibility of the page where it's directly from the source and people can see different perspectives. For example, that man on the left is from South Africa, so he has a different style turban. Woman wearing turban as well, which is sometimes people don't know is allowed for any gender, and someone who's in a second-generation Canadian who wears a different style. And most recently, even on campus, there was a Turban Day held in University Center to promote the education for turbans and creating a new community called the Punjabi Student Association. And recently also, Manitoba became the first province to pass a bill which received royal assent to officially recognize Turban Day in April. And with Sikh Heritage Month upon us, so this it gains more importance for people wanting to learn. And every summer as well, there's a community parade in front of the legislature where people spread awareness about the topic. And the page is live.
Don't forget, we're going to ask you questions. Have the mic so that they can hear you. We're just going to take some questions from the judges now.
So, where do you see this as a, sort of as a business in terms of the market? Or is this something that you would look at providing for through the education system, through schools, or would there be like companies or some sort of training?
Yeah, so definitely. So one thing I mentioned at the start, this is called Turban Page. And one of the goals was accessibility, right? And I volunteered at the Canadian Museum of Human Rights for the past 10 years, which helped me gain experiences in that. And the first step is always being able to access the page. You need to know what it is. So Turban Page, easily accessible, easily rememberable, and partnering with communities, like I mentioned, the credibility aspect, right? What's stopping someone from creating turban.ca, turban.com? And getting those direct sources will help those partnerships with schools. Hey, our content is directly from the people, not from a government that's trying to remove someone's identity. Yeah. And with the community events I mentioned, even if someone wants to host their own events, that's a place that can be advertised and revenue earned from the advertisements.
Did you just say your commercialization strategy is revenue through ads. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, so part of it's through revenue through ads, and then the other part would be through the schools and community partnerships.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that wasn't my question. I was just curious if that's what you said. So my question is, what's your strategy for getting users, for building that initial base of users, and then to go from there to scale? Like, what's your strategy for that?
So far, my strategy, I started without one, and I just asked the community themselves when I was interviewing them, like, first of all, are you even comfortable with this being out there? How does this impact you? How does this impact your family? And everyone I've talked to, they're like, this is something they would need, because even going on the street, someone asked them, hey, what's a turban? They don't have a half an hour to explain to them. And just having a page there, like, hey, go to turban.page, everything is there. I can give you 5 minutes of my story. You can view other people's story. Everyone has their own experiences. So in that way, I feel it builds the user base from just people sharing it. Word of mouth, which I found is one of the strongest.
Can you paint a picture for me? I haven't been to the page yet, about the kinds of things we're going to find. Like, is it curated, consistent kind of brand stories where people are explaining?
Wanted to focus on these 3 categories, right? So
Yeah.
as soon as you land on the page, you know which part you want to go to. And then the second thing was, which I hope they haven't done yet, but different translations, languages, so people from other faiths or places can understand it better in their own language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.